Lucy, welcome to VOX Collective. I love the heart ever since I've known you, and we've shared some amazing moments off camera, out of scene, and just hearing the bigness of your heart. Lucy, people may not know you.
Yeah.
People may not know who you are. Do you want to tell people who you are?
Okay. So my name is Lucy Grimble. I'm a Londoner born and raised. I'm a singer-songwriter, I'm a worship leader, I'm now also a worship pastor. So my life kind of now really just revolves around worship and writing and I guess being a voice in the UK and being a champion of worship in the UK.
And you know what's amazing? I've seen that journey.
Yeah,
We've had so many conversations
Yeah.
and just to see how God, what church are you at?
Yeah. What, right now?
Yeah,
I'm at a church in Brockley in southeast London called St. Peter's. And it's a charismatic Anglican church. It was a plant of two sort of large central London churches, but it's like totally a community church and it's beautiful. Love it.
And you know, I really have to hail out your previous pastors,
Yeah.
Rod and Julie Anderson, who, well, really touched my life in so many ways. Julie is such a powerful prayer warrior.
Yeah.
And Rod, just such an amazing guy. So
such an amazing teacher.
I think that you are a product of their amazing ministries and
100%.
blessings to the new church and
100%.
and how they're doing. But Lucy, tell me now, because your heart is so big, what are you passionate about?
Oh gosh, what am I passionate about? I mean, I'm passionate about a lot of things. I do feel like when I'm into something, I will just go for it 110%. So, I mean, in terms of worship, what I'm passionate about is people feeling free to just worship as they are, as God made them, not feeling like they need to perform in the room, not feeling like they need to look a certain way, feel a certain way. Just really, I'm passionate about people connecting with God, like not connecting with me, not connecting with my song, connecting with God. So, yeah, that's in worship. That is like my biggest passion, just for authenticity.
And I love that about you, because obviously I've seen you singing on some huge stages like David's Tent, and seen you in a small room.
Yeah.
You know, stood behind you playing guitar and just watching your float. And so how important is the presence of God to what you do? And this may seem strange, a strange question to ask, but tell me, you know, what is it?
Yeah. I mean, the presence of God is everything to me. I mean, I think what comes to mind when you ask that question is about being connected with the Father, like being connected with Jesus, because really the presence of God is always with us because he lives inside of us. So we are carriers of the presence of God. So the presence of God doesn't just have to be like when you feel it tangibly or when you're kind of shaking or when you're like covered in goosebumps. That is one facet, but it's not everything. So I think for me, the presence of God has just been about learning just day to day how to lean into God, how to know that I'm connected to him, how to act and be more aware of my connectedness to him. And I always want to worship from that place. I always want to write from that place of a consciousness of my connection with Jesus. And that for me is...
I love that. I always sum it up, awareness of his nearness.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
That's like, I know you're going to take that and write a song with that,
I am.
right?
Yeah, it's my next song
just
title.
make sure I'm in the middle, right? but one of the things, you know, you're talking about, and I really love that, because I say that God doesn't use anyone unless he gives them an experience. You see it in the Bible. He doesn't use anyone. Is there an experience that you've had that you don't mind sharing with the viewers, that you've had that actually, I use the word stained. You can't wash it out. You can't get it out.
Yeah.
But you know that you know that you know that you know.
Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot through my life. Probably taking it back to when I was a little girl. So I grew up in an Anglican church, very kind of Laura Ashley, middle class, white Anglo-Saxon church, where it was all very prim and proper and ordered, and service ran exactly to time, and it was orange squash and, you know, bourbon biscuits. And then the Toronto blessing happened, and our church just got hit by a wave of the presence of God and the Spirit of God. And Sundays turned into, like, it was so exciting going to church because you never knew when the service was going to end. People were falling over left, right, and centre, laughing in the Spirit, crying in the Spirit. And I think as a little girl, I just remember being marked by that. Like, I experienced the Holy Spirit for myself for the first time then. And I think I always look back on that, and as many times as I have, you know, wandered from God or like had seasons or even like years where I've really doubted or I've struggled with like certain things of unbelief. Like I've never been able to deny that he is real, because I had that experience as such a young kid where no one's telling you what to believe, like you are just a child, and it just felt like this hotline to God, and I just knew it was real. So yeah, I think that has stained me.
Yeah, you epitomize just a humility that is really authentic. It's not, you're not trying to be that. And that's why I asked you that question, and the songs that you write, I've listened to a lot of the songs that you've been writing, and I follow you. I told you I'm one of your, you know me anyway. But where did they come from?
Yeah, that's such a good question. I mean, there's probably two ways of answering this. Songs come from anywhere, so I get inspired by all kinds of things. I'm a very melody-driven person, so I love beautiful melodies. I listen to all kinds of music, and I just love beautiful soaring melodies. So I think a lot of times songs start with a melody for me, and then I'm looking for the lyrics, like what are the lyrics and the words and the feeling that match that melody. Or it starts from a theme, like I'll be, like at the moment, I'm really digging into Romans. So like there's just so much in that. I mean, it's such a dense book, but like,
dense.
like maybe it will start with like something that I'm really studying in a season, or it will just start with, I don't know, like a song title, or it can really start from anywhere. But I think what I've learned in songwriting is, because you can, as a songwriter, you can wake up and write a song any day, but you don't need to push or like release all of those songs, So I think I've learned as I've grown and matured and walked more in this songwriting journey about what songs to actually release, and not just sort of, I guess like not just release every single song I write, but actually to be like, what are the songs that I would fight for? What are the songs that I really believe have something to say, that actually I would really defend that song, and I would really push for that song to actually come out. So I guess I'm trying to say you can kind of write a song based on anything, but actually as a songwriter and as a leader, it's your job to really put the filter on and be like, what songs does the world need? Not just what song can I write?
And this is why I say you're a prophetic voice. Most people talk about the prophetic as being, this picture of a grey beard man saying, thus saith the Lord. But actually, I believe that God spoke a word over your life, and that word is being fulfilled, because you were meant to be a releaser of songs. Because I know you don't only write Christian songs, you write songs that speak to everyone.
Yeah.
Is there a process in that?
Yeah, there is. I mean, I write some songs that get played in nightclubs where probably no one, if only a handful of people know Jesus. And I think for that, I sometimes just feel like the ache of God over those people's lives. Like God just wants them to know his love. God just wants them to know that there is a Father that loves them. So I think it's, how do I put that into words in a way that people can catch on and sing, so that they can actually be singing truth over themselves, even if they're in like a, a non-sober state, or, just in all kinds of craziness. So yeah, I almost feel sometimes, I don't know, I feel really passionate about writing songs for church, but I also feel so passionate about writing songs for people.
And I know that because I've had that conversation with you.
Yeah.
And I feel that God's really brought you into this space, as a worship leader for your generation. That, if you don't mind me saying that, we've got an old way of looking at what we define as worship, or the worship song. But I think that there's a sense where God has just clothed you and given you experience to write songs that actually challenge the whole world. We're going to be hearing a song from you, and the song is called Don't Hide. And, can you unpack that song? Because that's just like such, don't hide. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
That's like a statement. What does that mean to you?
Yeah. I think this song was written for me in a season where I was just really trying to be my authentic self. Like, I think I was learning that there were certain parts of my life where I did wear a bit of a mask, and where I was a performer, and where I was trying to please people from a not real version of myself. And I felt God just like really putting his finger on my heart and saying, like, you have to learn, first of all, to be able to be totally like naked and unashamed with me. Like, that's the origin. That's where we're all trying to get back to. Just that place of like, God, you know me, you see me, you love me. Like, if we can walk around with that revelation every day, life would just be amazing. So anyway, I was in this season of just really trying to press into being very real with God and not trying to give him a version of myself that I thought he would accept, but just actually come to him knowing he accepted me fully. So it's a song all about vulnerability. It's a song about being real. It's a song about being authentic. And it's a song that's actually like, I wrote it probably 8 years ago, but it keeps coming back and people keep discovering this song and messaging me about it, just saying, you know, this song has really spoken to me. And I think it's an eternal cry of our hearts, just to be able to be who we were made to be and to be able to be totally real, totally vulnerable, totally ourselves with God. So yeah, that's what the song is about.
And I love how you're putting that, because there's a sense where you're saying authenticity is about your humanity, but maybe authenticity is also about your humanity as seen through the eyes of God.
Yeah.
Because he has the final say. Yeah. And we need to believe in what God's placed in us. And that's what I got, you know, one of the things about Lucy that I really love is that she's not just a sponge that soaks up loads of stuff, but she has a lot of stuff in her. And you teach workshops on songwriting and worship. Tell us about these, yeah?
I do. It's kind of like it's a growing thing. And it's funny, as a songwriter, sometimes being asked to teach about songwriting feels like, how do you teach it? Because like so much of what I've done has just been kind of intuited, or I've felt it along the way. I've not been taught how to songwrite myself. So, but you know, you get to the point where you're like, I do actually have something to share, or at least I have something where I can encourage a younger songwriter or someone that's starting out in their journey and give them some pointers and encouragement on, you know, ways that they can sort of develop their craft. So yeah, I've been starting to do more and more workshops on songwriting and worship leading.
Guys, you've got to look out for her workshops online. You can follow Lucy, you know, on Instagram and Facebook and all those social media things. You know, one of the things is that we have a few more minutes, and there's a whole generation that I believe that you're called to. I feel that you're called to a cross-generational context. You know, your heart is very much like my heart, and you know, we involve people of all different cultures, colors in our stuff. You know, what would you like to say to in a digital world where lots of young people like yourself are facing some connected to everything but still feeling lonely?
Yeah,
I would love you to speak to that place.
Yeah. I think that, you know, trends will change. Like TikTok will be replaced by something else. There will be some new fashion. There will be some new way of wearing your lipstick and your makeup and, you know, and I guess it's just those things are temporary. Like you can chase after those things as much as you like, but they'll never give you fulfillment. And I think the cry of all of our hearts is for love, and the place where we find the origin, the source of love, is in the heart of God. So I think, you know, it's fun to do TikTok, it's fun to wear great lipstick, but I think ultimately we have to point our lives towards the heart of God. We have to be in pursuit of his love. That is the most amazing adventure you could ever go on in your whole entire life.
And I think that's so powerful. So anybody listening, and maybe you're a young person listening, you're having those feelings of, wow, there's everything around me, but I still feel empty and I still feel all alone. That, you know, you're not too young to try the Father's love.
Absolutely. I was 8 when I, you know, experienced the Father's love for the first time.
And this is what it's done. It's brought you into being a real spokesman for the love of God. Well, you know, we're gonna check out this music video, Don't Hide, and I want to say thank you for being on this program. You know, you like, for me, you carry something so powerful in this generation, and you're releasing it all over this nation, and God is affirming you in so many different ways. And I pray blessing on you.
Thank you.
That you continue to do it and grow in a way where the world gets to hear the voice of God through you.
Thank you.
So here we go. Here's a song called Don't Hide.